The wedding ceremony, there's a special part that happens in virtually every wedding ceremony in
you
China.
serve tea to your parents.
You serve tea to your parents, your in-laws, and you change from calling them auntie and uncle, 叔叔阿姨, to baba and mama,
and
which
then
is mom and dad.
The parents would prepare some, red envelope.
Red envelopes and say, well, thank you for your loyalty and your efforts. Yeah.
It's a tough thing when you imagine, for foreigners, for example, it's a tough thing to do. I think because we don't have that, I don't think it exists in the U.S. In the U.S., you even say the name directly a lot.
It depends on families. I mean, I call my in-laws by their names, but they wouldn't mind if I called them mom and dad. But it feels a little funny for me because I have a mom and dad that I call mom and dad.
This is in Chinese culture. This is very important. That means you're acknowledging the fact that you're living together with a new family.
Yes, yes. So it's just a crucial part.
It's just a way to, because this is very important in China. The family concept is very important, especially when you have to acknowledge that you will take as good care of your other, as your
family members.
The other side of the family members as your own family members, your own parents.
Yes.
So this is
treat yourself as a part of this new family.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's how you show your loyalty to the new family. This is about what we do these days. I mean, either in China or in other countries, and some of the rituals, some of the traditions are being inherited, being kept in modern weddings, and some are the results of the foreign influences. The modern weddings are basically a combination of the traditions and Western influence, and we'll come to that point after a short break. And welcome back to Crossover Now to modern weddings. And you would see many of the traditions are still there, but sometimes in a different forms. Traditionally, we saw lots of sedan chairs, but these days, obviously, we don't have a sedan chair.
We have BMWs and Mercedes.
Exactly, we have limousines.
And that is something that, I mean, we, in the States anyway, the bride might go to the church in a limousine and everything, but the number of cars that are in a wedding party in China that are part of the procession, they all get flowers and put on them, they look beautiful, is really incredible.
That is. And these days, on the way, sometimes on weekends, on the way over here to work, we see long lines of vehicles and the cars, and many of them would have the double happiness posted on the windows. And okay, we think we know this is a wedding, and we want, this must be a very auspicious day.
Yes, and then you check your cell phone, what's the Chinese lunar day today, because it must be a good day.
Now, these days, when the groom arrives at the bride's place, and he has to knock the door. Knock, 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 and someone inside would pretend not to open the door and asking questions. Who is this, and what are you doing here?
That's right, and I know in some areas of China, they even will make it very hard for the groom to open the door.
And you have to prepare some red envelopes to bribe the ones protecting the door.
To open the door so that you can get your bride and go to your wedding ceremony, because this is all before the wedding.
Yeah.
This is all before the banquet and the wedding and everything. He goes to get his bride.
Yes, and actually we did that with all the cars. Everyone went with them. We did 2 circles around the... No.
That's only because it's a busy day.
I don't remember where we... yes, we departed from a hotel. And everyone met there. And then all the cars went there to get the bride. And we waited, and everyone was watching. Yep. And when she finally came out, we did the 2 circles around the second ring.
So the symbolism for this part of a wedding, I would think would be something along the lines of, we're not giving our daughter up easily.
It's not so easy. Exactly, it's not so easy that you get a bride.
And
you have to treasure this moment, your life together,
and show that you're worth it.
Exactly.
Show that you will be able to take care of her.
Every step has to take some efforts to finish.
So it's really, there's so much symbolism. I love it. I love it.
Wow. You'll get married a second time.
Second
wedding.
They're great.
And the groom would carry the bride on the back to the limousine or to the car, and at the same time they'll step on the balloons to just make the noise, make the sound.
Or they'll set off firecrackers.
Yeah, if it is allowed.
If it's allowed, then you'll have lots of firecrackers.
Yeah, because I guess the balloons are just a replacement of the firecrackers.
And the symbolism of the sound and the noise and everything is also to scare away anything
Evil.
bad that might be lurking about. And it's also 热闹, that wonderful term that's heat and noise.
Yeah.
Festive
noise,
atmosphere.
heat, that means, this is the festive moment.
Yeah.
It's very, in China, you were talking about firecrackers. As soon as you are loud, there will be firecrackers everywhere.
It's true.
This is the way to show everyone's
Yeah, it's
happy.
the tradition.
And talking about what traditions are kept, and in the wedding reception and the wedding services, there will be the tea serving part. There will be the title changing moment, where at the moment the bride has to call the groom's parents father and mother, and the groom will do the same actually to
The interesting thing though about I think a Chinese wedding that at least for me, coming from an American Western tradition, is something that I actually kind of like, is that the weddings here aren't held in a church or a hall and then moved to a reception restaurant or something like that. It all happens usually in the restaurant. So in a hall in the restaurant. So you might have 20 tables, everyone sits at the tables, then the ceremony begins. And you have the ceremony, and then once the ceremony's over, you have your banquet.
Yeah, but not necessarily all in hotels. I mean, in the countryside, let's just show you a picture of, wow, it's fantastic picture. We will see. It's not a market. This is the wedding ceremony, a huge banquet. They say it's 608 tables, and each table normally would accommodate like 10 people or 8 people.
For the sound system, it's funny to get this.
This isn't typical. I mean, this is considered. I mean, you don't see this kind of wedding every day.
No, not as big as this one.
But the notion of the tables and everything like that's really how a typical Chinese wedding happens.
Now, back to the weddings, maybe in the hotel halls, and there will still be 3 bows. But the 3 bows are to different people these days. Is basic. The first one would be to the parents of both sides.
Yes.
Second will be to the relatives and friends.
Yes.
And the third one will be between the newlyweds.
Between the two.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
what?
No, but there's a fun
see,
part.
now you're getting excited too.
Are we getting to the fun part finally? The show is nearly over, and I'm still.
What is about
the fun part? Like the 闹洞房.
Well, that's after the wedding.
That's
not yet. We're coming to that.
Nope.
We'll have to do another show. I'm sorry.
Hold your horses.
I am
Hold your
talking
horses.
20 minutes about that one.
Now the parents are about to say something.
Okay.
And the parents are going to say something, and they're going to serve tea. You have to change the titles for the newlyweds, and we see in lots of weddings the cakes and champagne.
Yes.
And that's the influence of Western wedding.
Yes, that's a huge element. But when people lock arms and drink.
The interlocutor drinking.
Yeah, 交杯酒. That we have in the West, but we also have. China's had around for a while too, yeah?
Yeah, I always thought that was only, Chinese.
A Chinese custom.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got that in the States, but here's,
the cake.
Wedding cake. This is very.
And you would also notice
international.
That, they are wearing the Western wedding gown and all in white. And traditionally, white would not be the color in weddings,
right.
auspicious moments.
Traditionally, white is a funeral color.
Exactly.
Yes.
So this is a big step that people have actually, adopted.
New
wearing
ideas.
white and stuff is
it's
not
actually now
culturally
it's much more
common.
mainstream than in the cities it's really mainstream.
But you have to realize, basically the brides will change their outfits.
Yes.
And this is only for the ceremonial part, where they are going to stand in front of all the guests. They're going to change the titles of the parents, do the champagne and cake, but they're going to take a break and change.
They change maybe twice or even 3 times.
All 3 times, yes.
Yeah.
It's a very, I think if someone were to ask me a question and say, what's one of the biggest differences you can think of between a Western style wedding and a Chinese style wedding, I think I would say level of noise.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Chinese weddings are these exuberant, loud, noisy, happy, just full of life events.
When everyone is enjoying himself at the wedding, and that means everyone is relaxed, you're just free to talk.
Whereas in the States, or in